Yo, what's going on, everybody, man? What I say? Good morning. Do it matter? Niggas are gonna be listening to this at nighttime. Okay, my fault. I do this every time. Yo, what's going on, man? We are back for another episode of Southern Hospitality, where me and my sister talk about the Black millennial experience in America. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
I'm Gabby Moss, and today we're going to be talking about dating, and in particular, dating as a millennial, the whole talking stage, the difference between dating and talking, this whole idea that can't nobody love you until you love yourself.
That's true.
Dating with social media in the age of social media, and dating apps and the hookup culture.
You know, I love that.
So we're going to get right into it. Landon, tell us one thing that you learned or unlearned this week.
I learned about segregational ordinances. Because I'm reading this book called The Color of Law, really good book, and it's talking about how a lot of these ordinances and laws were put in by legislation to separate black and white people. So I learned about, like, I don't know exactly which one. I think it was in Louisville. It was the Buchanan Ordinance, I believe. And it was basically saying, like, the majority of where you lived determined what type of people were allowed to live there. So if at the time it was like 51, if it was 51% white, then that became like a white neighborhood. And if it was, black, then it became black neighborhood. And it was troublesome for a lot of different like they had like a church that was on. They gave an example of this church that was on it was a black church that was on like a 51% white neighborhood. So it was like it became this whole little mess and stuff. So what they ended up doing was I think if it was like all white, then it became I got to double check, but I think if it was like an all white neighborhood, then that's what it became. And then in Atlanta they did something with, and it just blows my mind how this type of shit was legal. In Atlanta they were like, we're gonna do it different. So we're gonna say that's a black neighborhood. So if you white, get the fuck up and out of there. And if you black, like, you know what I'm saying? And then when they started doing like this racial zoning and everything like that, then they started underfunding these different
who
places.
got the money.
Right. And then they also get into like the environmental part of it as well, like waste plants and stuff being in by these certain neighborhoods, and it would be like it's just fucked up, bro.
Yeah.
And then it really like makes you understand why a lot of these like inner cities are like run down and stuff
because they don't have the resources.
they didn't receive the proper resources or the proper funding, and after that for so long, you know what I mean, like that shit adds up. It doesn't build up. That motherfucker tears down. And so yeah, it's just crazy, man. I'm still learning more about it, but that's one thing that I recently learned. What about you?
Yeah. And to that point, what you were saying before I get into mine, a lot of people have this idea that, black people just don't take care of stuff, but it's
Right.
like we never had anything.
Right.
We weren't given the proper resources to be able to build stuff up. And then when we actually did, some white folk came and tore it down.
Yeah.
There's numerous examples of that. So
or even like gentrification.
Yeah, right,
You know what I mean?
right. They come in, tear it down, make it their own, and none of the culture is left. I mean, it's just a completely new area, and then they push out the people that were living there.
Yeah.
So,
what are you supposed to do with that? You know what I mean? Like, you done push us out. Now where do we go?
It ain't their problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that gets into a whole nother thing about what you were. I don't know if it was you, but you were talking about how a lot, as a result of COVID and a lot of these companies allowing their workers to be remote, a lot of people are moving out of these expensive downtown areas and moving into, the areas where typically they're cheaper, I guess you could say, but it's like where black people normally are or lower income people are, and it's pushing them out.
Yeah.
So that's.
Can I say one more thing too?
Yeah, go ahead.
Another thing too, I forgot. Oh my gosh, but basically, it was talking about how they would use certain language to say black without saying black. You know what I'm saying? Like lower income or like urban, and they were talking about like that was another thing because they were like, we can't put we can't put the language of racism in these in this legislation and
Mm,
stuff like that. So they
yeah.
would say stuff like, yeah, you can't move into this like you can't move into this neighborhood if it's lower income. Like if you're a lower income
Yeah.
household, you can't move into this neighborhood, like in this single family household residential area. And so they were like, what? Because then they could be like, well, why does lower income mean black people? Like there's white people on lower income. Look at the percentages. There are, but like it's look at the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, we might
Mm.
have sacrificed a few white people, but like we're gonna keep them niggas out of here.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
That's an excellent point. That's an excellent point. I'm gonna be more
Yeah,
mindful of that too.
yeah. That's why I don't like using lower income. Like
Yeah.
I
I
just don't
feel
know what.
weird.
Yeah, because you know that you're saying like you know that you're
I was like,
saying
I
like
know it's
black
black
people,
people.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's like it's you can easily be like, why is it got to? Nope, I never said it was black people.
Yeah,
I just said
that's
lower
true.
income.
It makes it ambiguous.
Right, right.
It makes it ambiguous. That's true. I'm gonna start saying black people. Call a spade a spade.
Yeah, and that's one thing like that Nixon and them did with like the whole war on drugs. Like it was the same thing. They just changed the language to say black people without saying black people.
Mm, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I'm glad you brought that up because I wasn't even like fully conscious of it, but when you said it, I'm like, dang, I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, well, I was gonna say that's what I learned today. That's what I learned today. Add it to the list. I have two. Um, one, Randy sent me this. It's a from Fox News. They just published this yesterday. Tennessee ramps up punishments for
Mm,
protesters, including the loss of voting rights.
yeah.
And so the Republican governor quietly signed a bill earlier this week creating harsher punishments for protesters, including increased jail time and loss of voting rights. And so basically, um, they've revised the criminal law related to peaceful protesting. And if you are protesting or camping on state property, that makes it a criminal offense.
Mm,
And anybody who violates that would face a Class E felony charge and a mandatory minimum sentence of 30 days in jail
wow.
for peaceful protesting, which is a
One of
constitutional right.
right. I, if if I don't
It,
think people. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
you good.
Like they're literally violating our constitutional rights,
Yeah. Yeah.
and a lot of people don't even be knowing.
If
Like it
there
seems
was
like basic knowledge, but so a lot of people don't know. But my bad. I'm sorry. What
no,
were
no,
you
no,
saying?
you're good. You're good. You're good. That's I mean, what I was saying is if there was any time to vote, it would be right like in this election.
Yeah.
Like if there was any time, like I've never felt that our democracy was more at risk of being dismantled than like now.
Yeah.
You know, I always think about what it was like for people who lived during the Holocaust. Like what was it like to see these small injustices being made to the point where it got to the what it did. And I feel like we're in a similar situation where it's these small injustices that are happening, and you know we're just kind of you know we get a little angry and then it subsides. But if you really look at what they're doing, passing a law that takes away your voting right for something that you have the constitutional right to do, like that's a direct threat to our democracy.
Yeah.
You know, if there was any time for people to vote, I get it. Lesser of two evils. We don't really like what the, you know, who the candidates are, but one is clearly showing, clearly demonstrating that he doesn't give two shits about our democracy.
I think the worst part about that too is, um, I think I was listening to the Bird and Idiots podcast, and Andrew Schultz was saying like he's created a new line of what a Republican could be. Like they've always been like, we got to like do like this, and he's like here. You know what I'm saying? So
Yes.
he's and it's like, oh, we can be that nasty and get away with it.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Let me go ahead and
Yes.
sign this law that's a voter suppression law against black people, basically. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? Like it, it's I don't know, man. It's
Yes.
crazy.
It's crazy. I like if now is the time. Like I don't care what you might have thought in the past. Voting, you have power in your vote, and
Yeah,
it's so important to vote. I mean, when Randy sent me that, I'm like, there's no way. Then I was like, oh, it's from Fox News.
Yeah.
It's from Fox News.
I also saw this other thing talking about how they've rigged and hacked the election and stuff. Senator Brian Kemp in Georgia talking about like, dude, it's so crazy. It is and these are like cited sources. These are news channels that are literally telling us like, dude,
They
like
are
they
are
are rigging.
destroying a democracy.
Yeah, yeah, and
Destroying it.
and I just hate how either people justify it or people just don't know about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when like people speak up, like, dude, I'm telling you, this shit is real. It's like, that's a conspiracy. They're not. The Russians are not. Blah blah blah. And it's not the Russians. There's actually one guy. I got. I'll pull it up later because it's a whole. Little, I got to pull it up and talk about it. But yeah, it's just crazy. It's crazy. It's actually insane. Like, do you think that like black people got some superpower that we just don't know about or some shit? Like,
potentially the way people be coming at us,
dude. Like, it makes no sense to the extent that people will go to keep black people down. Like, dude, there got to be we got to have some type of goddamn power to fly or some shit that we just don't know about. The way people
it might be like, it might be God and then black people. At this point, that's how I feel, because the way they crucified Jesus is almost the way they be coming for black people.
Right.
I'm just saying, we're going to put it in context. What have we done to receive the treatment that we have received for centuries?
Yeah. It makes literally no sense to me. I was like, damn, what really did black people do? Damn.
Right. I'm trying to go back through the history books. Like, I don't see. I mean, did we just like genocide? Did we cause genocide? So what did we do?
Yep. Yeah.
Anyways, I went on a tangent, but
okay.
Yeah, Randy sent that to me, and I was like, wow, we're really living in, like, this will go down in history books.
Yeah.
This will go down in history books, and we have the opportunity and the power to make sure that the right story is written. So make sure y'all go vote.
The thing though is, we might be able to control it, but how it's taught moving forward, we don't necessarily control. Does that make sense? But look how they teach history now. Look at the history books. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think we do have control over that, though.
Really?
I do. I think in the past, I don't think we did, because we didn't have control over who was printing the stuff.
Yeah.
But now we have, which, I mean, and this could go either way, but now we have the internet and social media, and me and you have created a podcast and can tell our stories. There's more platforms now for people to tell their stories.
Yeah.
Whereas when we were, back in the day, you only had who owned the books and the only real sources of information. Now it's everywhere.
McGraw and Hill.
Yeah, right. When we couldn't access that, but now we have access and we can create our own stories.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's just yeah.
Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, actually he passed a law or a bill, I think it was a couple weeks ago, that made ethnic studies mandatory.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
I was like, yeah, that's dope.
That is dope.
That should be a thing, period.
Yeah.
Everywhere. Yeah. You know what I mean? That should be, I don't know, it blows my mind, man.
Well, honestly, that is that what contributes to people perpetuating racism and being like, oh, I didn't know that was racist, because you've never seen another side. You've never seen or never experienced or never understood anybody else's story aside from your own.
Yeah.
And people around you who are exactly like you. So
I saw this one thing. Let me see if I can pull it up. It said like 8 out of 10 white people don't have a black friend. I was like, Jesus.
Really? You know what? That I'm not actually even confused as to how that's possible. That makes a lot of sense.
Dude, that's insane. How can you ever understand what I'm trying to find the thing.
I wonder what their sample size was. So that's another thing, is we have to make sure we understand how they took this information.
True. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I can't even find it. I'll find it later.
So that was one thing that I learned this week. and I had another one, but we're at 16 minutes, so I would rather
Damn.
continue on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. Move to the topic of the day, which is dating as a millennial.
Woo woo!
First
Yeah.
off, I just want to say, dude, the accessibility we have to dating is actually mind-boggling. Like, dude, we can literally create a bay. Like, yeah, the minimum height, this, the minimum weight, this, the ethnicity, the religion. Like, you can literally pinpoint exactly what you want, which I don't know if that's the best thing. How you feel about that? We'll just start with this. How do you feel? What's your experience been like dating as a black woman, a black millennial woman?
Oh boy. I can say I've only had 1 to 2 relationships that were good. Like they were fun. I enjoyed them. And the rest of them were struggle love.
What do you mean struggle love? What's struggle love?
Just it's a lot of arguing and it's draining and it's exhausting. It's this emotional roller coaster of, you want to be with this person, but they just make you sick to your motherfucking stomach and you
Mm,
hate them one moment. And then it's unhealthy and unhealthy relationships. I've been in a
wait,
lot more of those.
would you call it toxic? I know you hate that word.
I hate that word toxic. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Yeah, no, toxic would be the best because I only say that so people can understand,
Yeah,
not because I like that word or I condone it, but
right,
because
right.
people seem to understand that word toxic. Most of them were toxic. Um, I'm not even sure how I found half of them. College, okay. Yeah, no, dating has been it's been stressful there for most of the time that I've dated. So I've taken this year to very make sure that I'm not engaging in anything like that. I don't want to date at all. I just want to take this time to focus on me. Because I realize in all of my struggle relationships, I'm the common denominator. So
Mm,
if I keep getting the same experience with a different person, that means maybe it's me. Not
mm.
all me, but there's a lot that I'm contributing that I need to work on. So I can stop attracting these relationships because I don't want them. What about you?
Whew. It's been it's been eventful.
Okay.
Um, it's weird, man. Like, yeah, it's just different because I guess I just never really felt, and I never really felt like I'm ready for a relationship. Even like when I was in one. Um, like I remember the ex before my last one. Um, I was over there just rambling, talking shit. Oh yeah, look, we can be together right now. Like, yeah, you fine as hell. Like I'm telling you, like just running lip. And she was like, okay. I was like, what?
Come
And
again,
so
say
then
what?
I had a girlfriend, and I was like, why did I just do that shit? And then I was terrible. I was cheating 2 weeks into the relationship. It was all bad. I mean, I was terrible. Like I wasn't doing nothing. Like I wasn't like disrespectful to them. Like, oh, I guess cheating is disrespectful. But like yeah, I wasn't like no. Yeah, I was terrible. I was terrible. I was cheating. Um, but I feel like, dude, I think a lot of people just aren't ready for relationships. And it's because I think we're so ingrained in this hookup culture. Like it's so accessible. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that you ever really establish that foundation with someone nowadays. Because
Yeah.
the same thing with like one instant gratification through social
Yeah.
media. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, oh, we instantly click. We've been talking for like a day. Let's hang out. I don't even know where you from. I don't even know your last name. I know you look good
Who
though.
are you?
Who is this woman in my house? But yeah, dude, we just like expect instant results. We don't ever put the groundwork in though. We never built that foundation for this
Yeah.
house to live on. So we got this janky ass shack, and it's like, well, shit, it's a roof over our head. You know what I'm saying? It's fun. We got a little, you know what I'm saying, a little disco ball there, so it's nice, and you know what I mean. We can dance
Yeah.
together, but yeah, I don't know. I think
It's not solid.
it's not solid at all.
Yeah.
And I think we got to do a better job of establishing that foundation, or even understanding that we have. I don't think people even understand, like, dating's not an instant click. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? You have to get to know someone because you can have a great first date. You could. I've been. There was this one this girl. She was an Instagram model, pretty popping, pretty popping, and we kicked it off. It was great. You know what I'm saying? I slid in her DMs and we hung out and she came to like game night with us, all this stuff. We was having the time of our lives. And I was like, yo, I want to be with you. I mean, we had probably hung out twice. Nigga, do you even know who she is outside of it? Like, you know what I mean? Like, what was I in the, what's the big rush? What's the rush?
Do you
And so,
know?
you say again?
Do you know? Like, do you know what the rush was?
Honestly, I think it was just because I couldn't believe that I was like, I'm talking to this girl. Like, dude, she is like, what? Like, she is popping, popping. You know what I'm saying? Um, and I don't know. I went off that initial feeling of lust. You know what I mean? Like, oh, dude, we click, we get so we ain't never had no argument nothing like that. But I'm like, we've been clicking for like a week now. Like, she's the one. And then shit went south. We started arguing all the time. And Lauren, when I say arguing over dumb stuff, we would be sitting in the car and then it would be like, yo, can you cut the AC on? I'm like, you hot? Yeah, I'm hot. You not hot? No, I'm not hot. Like, oh my God. What you mad? Like, yeah, I'm mad. Like, what the you always, and then I'm like, we would just start arguing, and then every single time we argue. Like every time we hung out after about a week and a half, we just argued. But she
Damn.
was so fine. So I was gonna make it work.
You know what? I think that speaks a lot to dating with social media.
Mm,
Is especially if you've met somebody and it's been through social media, like we were saying in our last episode, like social media is really everybody's highlight reel.
yep.
Not a lot of people are posting, the not so glamorous portions of their life. So you see them at their best
Mm-hmm.
and tend to assume that this is how they always are. Like they
Yeah.
don't have any flaws. They don't have, we're gonna just click and I don't know, right off into the sunset.
A day after meeting.
But we put people on pedestals and forget that everybody is dealing with their own traumas and, pain that they've sustained over whenever. And so when that starts coming out, it's like, I don't know if I want to be in this no more.
Yeah.
I thought you're not who I thought you were.
And nigga, you don't know me.
Right. And exactly. And that's one thing that happens when we rush into stuff. I know me, I had broken up with somebody that I had been with for almost 2 years. And then in 2 weeks is dating somebody else. And then got in a relationship like 2 months later.
Damn.
And I had asked you, like, what caused you to fall so fast? And for me, it was I didn't want to feel the emotions that come from a breakup. Like I didn't want to feel bad. I didn't want to miss him. I didn't want, all those emotions we tend to think of as negative. I didn't want to feel those. So it was like, let me just find somebody else
Yeah.
or rebound to get me over that hump. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, if you don't acknowledge those emotions when they first, when that first happens, it's not that they go away, they just manifest some other way.
Yeah.
And usually the longer that you take to acknowledge them, the more of a effect and influence they have on you.
Yeah. I think that like messes with your next relationship.
Oh,
You know what I
definitely.
mean?
Oh, what?
Was it like a big factor in your relationship not working out?
Oh, no, that Negro be lying. That's why we didn't work out. Is he be lying? but it was a big factor in how I perceived the relationship.
Mm,
And so that's one thing when you don't take the time to heal from your past relationships is you never give somebody the chance to make a first impression, right? You
yeah,
just you're waiting for something. And so I was always waiting for him to do something to prove myself right. Like I don't really trust this guy. I'm not even going to give him the chance.
yeah.
I'm just waiting for him to mess up so I can say, I knew I couldn't trust you. And the thing about that is people have these whatever you believe will happen. That's just what it is. If I believe that you're going to cheat on me, I'm going to behave as if you're going to cheat on me. And a lot of times what happens is in my behavior, I push you to that. Now, there's a portion like you have your own responsibility and accountability in that whole situation. But at the same time, I played a role. And I think a lot of people when they use toxic or when they use like narcissist, and I'm not saying that these things don't exist. I'm saying that there's a portion of accountability that we don't take,
Mm.
you know.
Because it's your fault.
You're right. And there's no healing when somebody else is to blame. What can I take away? What did I do? How did I contribute to the
Yeah.
situation? You know? Um, like again, that Negro be lying.
Mm-hmm.
But I also did things that made him feel like I didn't create space for him.
Yeah.
So he didn't feel like he could talk to me about somebody else or talk to me about how he was feeling. So he went to somebody else to talk to them about how he was feeling.
Mm.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think just to circle it back on the social media part of it, you good? Was it? I said, "Damn, I hope you got it."
Yeah.
Nah, but just please drink it. To circle it back, are you spilling shit? You got a hole in your lip.
I'm nervous.
No, but to circle it back around into the social media part of things, I think something that gets me like super hot about like dating is social media's idea of what a relationship is like.
Oh yeah, relationship goals.
Dude, I saw something that was like nobody's ever too busy to respond. They're just not interested. And I'm like, and it had like 20,000 retweets. I was like, oh my God. Like, yo,
Every day
you mean to
I
tell
see
me
stuff on social media.
And I think people create these false images of what a relationship should be or how a relationship should go.
Yes.
Like, dude, it's possible that you're actually busy, that your significant other is actually busy and can't text you back. And I think when people say stuff like that, like they're not interested, now you create these ideas in people's head, like, you know what, I saw this tweet one time, they're not interested. They're not interested. And then now you with them and shit, you sitting on the side of the bed looking at side eye, and I'm like, oh, this nigga not even interested in me. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so it creates tension and false ideologies where there shouldn't be any.
Yeah.
You start
Yeah.
acting different, you know what I mean? Because it's like they're not interested, or like then you start looking for signs that like, okay, if he was interested, then he would have like know my love language. Like, whoa, what the fuck is what is happening right now?
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. What you believe will come true because you're gonna start acting as if it's already happened.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think
Go
another thing
ahead.
too is like these YouTube couples and everything. Like people put them on a pedestal.
I want a relationship like that.
And it's like then you start creating the damn mic about to fall off. This mug keep turning. But then I think people start creating I don't want to say milestones, but like start comparing their relationship to others. Like, oh, they went to
Standards.
Bali. Yeah. Like, oh, they went to Bali. Oh, they traveled all around the world. Like, why don't we never travel around the world? We sitting up here in Cancun, or not Cancun, in Compton, and we ain't done nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I don't think that determines whether your relationship is good or not, whether you travel or not. Now, I ain't saying that you should be with someone who just sit in the house all day and don't ever leave. And for guys, don't be like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? We ain't got that money. So we like you can still do something nice, but like
You can be creative.
right. But yeah, I don't know. I think people like I don't know, base their relationship a lot of times off of like social media standards and
Yeah.
social media couples and YouTube couples and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I know I
And
did. Honestly, I'm sorry to interrupt you. I just
no,
want to
you're
say
good.
this one
You're good.
thing. That's honestly part of the reason why me and my ex had went to Thailand, because I was like, we got to go on a trip because like that's what relationship. Why I sound like Donald Trump? I'm like, that's what relationships should be like. We should be like traveling and everything, and let's go to Thailand. Why? I mean, it was a dope trip, even though we broke up when we came back. But it was dope. It was a dope experience for sure.
I
um.
heard that that's one way, like, if you can go on a trip with your significant other,
Oh
like
yeah.
in a different country, and
Mm-hmm.
y'all, because I guess it tests your relationship in some way.
24/7, you together.
Yeah. Then that and living together. I probably should have just taken the trip, but
You lived it.
yeah. It's my first time living with a guy, and it was honestly, it wasn't even bad. Like, it was cool. It was
Mm.
just I need to be lying. But I wanted to say something. You had said a point, and I think also another reason why relationships from a female standpoint, we get into these not so healthy relationships is we're always looking for a project. We're looking for somebody we can help heal and help, teach them how to love.
Mm.
I all of the relationships that I have gone into with that mindset have been unhealthy and toxic.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that that might be because of how, like social perception on like black women supporting black men?
A little bit, yeah. And maybe that does tie into, I have this need. I draw my self-worth from who I can help, right? And it's like a badge of honor to help a man learn how to love, No other woman before me could do this. I did it. That's like a badge of honor, right? So
Mm.
a lot of women get into these relationships and it's like, I'm going to help him find himself. I'm going to help him heal. It sounds so noble. And I used to get into relationships with that idea, but with that, you have to understand that this person is not doing their own work. And since I've been doing my work, I realize that when you love somebody, you don't try to change them, right? You support them, encourage them, and you give them space so that they make the decision to want to change. But when I get into a relationship and I'm like, I'm going to heal him, I'm basically saying that this person needs to be fixed. This person needs to be changed. Nobody wants to feel like something's wrong with them. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so when you get into those relationships with that, there's already this, what you're doing is wrong. I'm going to show you how to do it right. So there's this like false sense of superiority that comes into these relationships, and that can cause a clashing dynamic.
Mm.
Now, on the flip side, with me, I'm coming from a place of, oh, I'm going to teach them how to love because I don't know how to love myself. So let me teach somebody else. Let me try to teach somebody else to do it so that can make me feel better about myself.
Right.
Um, okay, that was the end of my point. Like, is anything else? Is anything else coming? Nope. Okay.
No, I think that's a big thing, man, that people don't talk about, and I think people like expect these relationships to be like the thing that heals
Save
them.
them.
Yeah, this relationship saved me. Like you complete me. Like that's a problem when you can't. Because how you gonna love someone if you don't even fully love yourself?
How one you can't. Okay, there's this thing when I was reading this Facebook post, and the girl was saying like she was mad because people always say, "Can't nobody love you until you learn how to love yourself." I get the frustration with that, but I understand it now. Now that I've been alone and have taken time to understand myself and what I like and what I don't like, and I'm still learning. When I get into a relationship with somebody, when they do something that violates my rhythm, my vibration, I can say, hey, I didn't like that you did that. Can you do this instead? And now we've communicated, they do something, they know the boundary. But when you get in a relationship and you don't love yourself or you don't understand certain things about yourself, you're always reacting to what people do,
Mm.
right? And that can usually lower your vibration. And so it's not that people can't love you, it's that you don't always get the love that you need when you don't understand how to love yourself first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my point.
I always know you be so deep in thought. I'm like, is this nigga still talking?
I was like, is anything else gonna come? No? Okay. All right.
Now, how do you feel about I know a lot of people always be like, oh, so like, back in the day they used to love like go on dates and like now people just want to hang out at the house and have sex. Like, how do you feel about how people compare the older generations love lives and all that shit compared to like today's?
I'm pretty sure they were still knocking boots. We just ain't know.
Knocking the boots.
Hey, somebody knocking the boots.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they were.
Yeah.
I mean, by dad's account, yeah, they were.
I mean, about 15 of us, shit. Talk about, yo, if they would have had Tinder back in the day, Dad might have 50 kids. We might have.
You never know.
I mean, shit, we might have 50 and just not know now.
Lord. You said how do I feel? I mean, I think humans are very consistent in their behavior for the most part. It's just the mediums and the channels that they have to express themselves. So, I don't really know how they were doing things as far as dating, but I'm pretty sure it was similar into how we do things as far as like adjusting to the time. So maybe it took a little longer for them to get to the point that they were at. I think technology and the access that we have to people now makes that timeline shorter. So instead of it taking 2 years to get to a certain point, it's taking us a month. But I think that the experience and our behaviors are pretty much the same. It's just we've been on an accelerated track because of social media and our access to people. What do you think?
I don't know. It's so weird to me, man. I hate when people do that though. Like, also, this is off subject. I hate when people be like, "Oh my god, the '50s were so amazing." For who? For who? Who was amazing for?
Black people's getting lynched.
My bad, I had to say that. I just thought about that. But yeah, no, I agree with you. I think they was doing the same thing. I think every generation does the same thing, just like you said, in different medium, different channel. Like we all are human, you know what I mean, and we're all based in the same like principles. It's just how we go about them are different depending on our surroundings and our environment.
Yeah. Well, what do you
Yeah.
think about like? Because I don't really have a lot of experience with dating apps. What do you think about dating apps and excuse me, that whole hookup culture? Because I know that's a little different than say our parents' generation. How do you think that's affected us?
I think it's made like desensitized us in terms of like I guess actually caring for a person or getting to know about a person before you have sex with them. Because like I'll be honest, there's people who I've had sex with who I didn't even know their name. It's literally been girls that like it just be a number in my phone. You know what I'm saying? And it's like we'll talk one day and then we'll like have sex that night. You know what I mean? Like, dude, that's insane. I don't even know. Like, we don't even know each other's names. We never talk again.
Yeah.
Like, well, I will say like now, I don't know. I've made a conscious effort to like actually get to know the person that I'm having sex with.
Yeah. What do you think is? Oh, go ahead.
I was about to just make a joke. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. How are you gonna make that joke?
I was gonna say, what do you think has contributed to that shift now?
There's one girl who I would like. Oh my god, I was so fucking horny. So we were like just talking, and she, dude, it was terrible. Like with the couple times we had hung out, we had like hooked up and stuff. And then she was like, "You want to go on a hike?" And I was like, "Yeah, you want to fuck at the top?" She was like, "Damn, we can't just go on a hike." And I was just like, "Damn, like, do I really think I gotta have sex with her every single time we hang out, or like that'd be the only thing?" And it was like, "Damn, why do I feel that way? You know what I'm saying? Why do I feel like the only thing you're good for is sex? And then so now I just been like trying to make a conscious effort to like, oh, like we can hang out too. Like, yeah, it's cool to have sex, but we can also be friends.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
Okay. Okay.
yeah, I think it
Some
because she
good
was like,
awareness.
yeah, she was like, dude, it's dehumanizing. Like for you to just
Mm.
only look at me like sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, I didn't even look at it like that. And then I don't know, just made me more aware of it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, dude, I'm not even concerned. I wasn't even worried about how she was feeling. I didn't give a damn about how her day was. All I cared about was whether we was having sex or not, and what position it was gonna be in.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I said there's a lot of women that can kind of confuse that. Like just because somebody's having sex with you means they care
Right.
about you. It's very I don't want to say it's very easy, but men can have sex and disassociate the, for lack of a better word, vagina from the person.
Yeah. I think a lot of guys do that.
Yeah. Yeah. Um yeah, that's powerful awareness, dude. That's
Yeah.
good. That's very good.
Yeah. It's wild, man. Like, dude, I just saw some little video too. This dude was like, "Yeah, I don't even kiss girls when I have sex with them." Nigga, what? And then I was like, "Oh, I used to do that too." Like, I remember one
Mm.
time this girl was like, "Well, you don't kiss," and I was like, "Nah," and she was like, "Okay, that's fine." And I'm just like, "Damn, that was back in
Why?
college, back in the day."
Why?
I used to say dumb shit like, "Oh, I don't want to like, you know what I mean, like have no feelings attached," as if me kissing was gonna make her just fall in love. You know what I'm saying? Like, this kiss is gonna make you fall in love, baby. Like, I don't know. I think it's the same thing. Like, because that would make it like now I'm acknowledging the person, not just the vagina. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying?
Mm.
Um, dude, it's crazy. It's
It's
crazy.
but it's good though that you're able to identify that now. There's a
Yeah.
lot of people that are still at that stage where they don't see women as anything other than just a tool for sex, you
Right.
know? So being able to have that awareness that's huge. And I think that's one thing this could probably be going off on a tangent is why with the Megan the Stallion thing, it's so easy sometimes for men to justify violence against women is because they don't see them as anything more than a tool. When you don't acknowledge somebody's full humanity, then you can't empathize with them when they go through certain things.
Yeah.
So
This is a little off subject too. I just thought about Breonna Taylor when you said that. Dude, have I think I might have asked you this outside of the podcast. Have you ever seen a video of Breonna Taylor?
I saw a few of her. I don't know if it was her sister. She was with another girl, like being goofy.
Yeah. I think that's why people are able to like make these little memes. Like, I just think about the one time this white girl was like, um, let's go on a date and arrest Breonna Taylor. How's that sound for arrest the cops that killed Breonna Taylor? And I'm like, what? That's not cute to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, people, I think that's why people are. I think a lot of people haven't even seen the humanity in her.
Yeah.
Like, they've only seen pictures and like tweets and stuff about it. But like, dude, even me, like I was like pushing for like make sure people are constantly aware about it, but I didn't really think too much about it. And then I saw a video of her like just being a fucking you know what I mean? She was like with her friends out and stuff, and I was just like, damn, dude, that shit's giving me goosebumps to think about now. But like she was a people. I just don't think people like, dude, she was a real person.
A human.
She was a human being, and I
Yeah.
don't think I don't know. I
Yeah.
think that's why. So I think that's another reason why like the George Floyd thing was touched so many people was because you saw a video of a man literally the life leaving a man's body. Like we actually saw that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
No
know what I mean?
pictures, no still shots, like the
Right.
actual video
Right.
of him. Yeah.
Right.
I think it hits people a little different when they see it,
Yeah.
and you put like an actual life to a face or a picture or whatever.
Right.
Like that was somebody's life.
Yeah. Like anytime I see this right here, I think about that video. You know what I mean? Or well, not I think about the video, but I was thinking about like the response in it. So like I think it has like most it's mostly good, but
Mm-hmm.
that video will always be attached to George Floyd's face.
Yeah.
For Breonna Taylor, what do you think about when you see Breonna Taylor? You
That
know what I'm saying?
picture.
Yeah, same. But like, I think people don't think about like the fact that they like rated this woman. You know what I'm saying? Like because they didn't see a video, they didn't like associate those two together.
Yeah.
So getting a little off subject, but yeah, I just want to say that.
No, it's okay. I think those all play a role. I mean, in the way that our relationships are
Yeah.
with people, you know. Um I saw something and it made me think of all the male friends that I've had. I've only had one that I knew for a fact was not trying to date me, not trying to have sex with me in my whole life. That wasn't family. One friend. And it's so powerful to have somebody like that, to know like you're not preying on me, because
Right.
that's what it feels like when, you meet somebody and they're being nice to you, and it turns out that once they share their feelings for you, it's like, oh, that was all you wanted.
Yeah.
You didn't really want to be my friend. You just wanted to get with me.
Do you feel like it's possible for people to have sex and still be friends?
In my perspective, now I can't speak for everybody, but I know I can't. I can't, because sex is good sex, at least. I don't think it's possible to have good sex. Probably bad sex.
It might be bad. You might not look at them the same.
No, I've had some bad sex, and it was like, we have to cut this off.
Yeah, maybe let's just say friends. Say friends. Platonic.
Yeah, let's. But I think really good sex is not just about physical. I think you are sharing, it's an emotional, spiritual, mental, like it's the whole nine. And I think when you share yourself with somebody in that way, it's very hard to just keep it as friends.
Yeah.
I think so. I mean, I did that and fucked around and started loving the dude. So I knew after that, I was like, oh, this hookup shit is not for me. We were friends before.
Okay.
Like, we were really good friends. I was on the tail end of a relationship, so we had kept it very cordial, and we didn't start really having sex till about 7 or 8 months after meeting each other. And yeah, after that, it was just like, when you connect with somebody in that way, and it wasn't just like have sex and leave, you'd sit, talk about like spiritual shit, Philip talking and shit.
Get cooped up.
Yeah. So I don't think, if you're having just the very basic physical sex, like just honestly masturbating with the body, then yeah, you can probably still be friends with somebody, because it's just masturbating with somebody else's body. But when you really engage with somebody on a higher level, then no, I don't think it's possible. I don't think it is. What about you?
Well, I done had sex with some friends, and we didn't been friends still. But the thing is, I can only speak from my perspective and my point of view.
Right.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's been like, oh yeah, we're still like friends, but I'm not sure exactly how she feels. You know, but from my perspective, I think it's possible because I've thought we've been still good friends, but I could be absolutely wrong. You know what I'm saying? They could be like at night just looking at the mirror of me in their closet. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Nah, but yeah, I don't know. It's only happened, I think, maybe twice. Now I have done some dumb shit before, or I've like been friends with someone and then let something slip, like on some drunk shit, like, you know what I mean, dumb shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but luckily that didn't always ruin my friendships. Well, I don't think it has ruined any friendships, but I can see how it has, how it could.
Yeah. No, I've had to.
But sometimes it'd be weird though, because sometimes it's like some type of energy, man. Like sometimes you can like
Feel them.
Yeah, and it's like, dude, I know that you're feeling the same thing that I'm kind of feeling. Like, I would low key have sex with you right now. But like, dude, because sometimes it's just like that kind of like sexual. I don't want to say sexual attention, but like that type
attraction.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think you know. You usually know.
Yeah. So I did that. One of my friends, I would like, I had made a joke and I was like, oh, dude, like, it's like a little sexual joke. And then they responded with another sexual joke. And I was like, mm. And then it's like, I don't want to ruin this friendship, but I'm gonna add another sexual joke, see how you feeling. And then before I know we had sex. But no, let me see how much time we got left before we
We're at 52. We're
I'm
good.
just talking. Yeah, man.
Yeah. And that's another thing. So that's one of the reasons why me and my ex too would argue a lot is he would call friends who he had sex with just like the homies. And I'm like, don't lie to me. Don't lie to me. If I'm texting a person and this is somebody that I've had sex with, one, I don't normally do that. If we had a relationship where we were having sex, I don't really just kick shit because
Right.
I feel like that's a respect thing. But I'm also going to let you know, like, yeah, it's a such and such. We used to have sex when we were whatever, just to let you know that the relationship is more than just friendship, because my friends are just my friends and they have never crossed a boundary with me. And then there's some people that I used to kick shit with. We did a little something. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna confuse the two, and you won't be confused about the two. But
Yeah.
he would try to put it like, I didn't think that was important. If y'all going to hang out when you go back to visit, I think that's important.
Yeah. Now, is there a certain time limit between the last time they had sex? Like, what if it was someone he had sex with right before y'all got together, and he about to go hang out with her a week in your relationship?
He gonna get punched in the throat. No, I'm kidding. That's not cool with me. I don't like that. No,
Okay.
I would
What if
not feel
it's
comfortable with that.
what if it's like 6 months, or like what if it's like a
I
couple
wouldn't feel
years?
comfortable with that. A couple of years.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is, what is the time limit between the last time they had sex
I think
for you
within
to feel comfortable?
I think within a year, no, I wouldn't feel comfortable.
Mm.
But it also comes back to like my own insecurities and
Yeah.
how I perceive male female relationships.
Mm.
So growing up, our perception is a little different. So that's a subject that I'm particularly particular about, because there will be no blurred lines.
Mm.
Right. And so I feel like for me, hanging out with somebody that I had sex with, it would have to be some years.
Mm.
Like some years, and we're just, we just, that's friends, that's it. And it can have been like an ongoing thing. Maybe once or twice, okay. But if y'all was having sex and y'all was on and off for a couple of years,
Knocking the boots.
yeah, I'm not going to feel comfortable with that. But I also recognize too that my own insecurities play a role in that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that we would have to talk about, but I would let it be known that I don't feel comfortable with that. What about you?
I forgot the question.
You said, I know I was rambling.
No, I had looked back because Layla she was like stretching and her palms were like doing some weird stuff. So I was like, what the hell she doing? My bad.
Layla freaked out.
She was freaking me out.
You asked what would be like the time
limit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know. Because sometimes because of my insecurities, I'd be like thinking like someone having sex with someone that they never had sex with before. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
I'd be biting my tongue, but I'd be knowing like I can feel myself acting different or like responding to stuff differently. And I'm like, damn, dude, like, why are you thinking that? Like, you're creating scenarios in your own head about shit that you're insecure about.
What have you seen?
Yeah.
What have you seen? And that's another thing too with relationships these days, is people are so quick to jump to conclusions about things. And it's like, think about what you were taught growing up.
Mm-hmm.
We get into these relationships with people and then we start projecting our own insecurities onto them.
Yeah.
And they project their own insecurities onto us. And so now there's just this mix of basically untruths. It's just one story and another story, and neither of them are completely accurate.
Right.
But yeah, no. Well, that's a huge thing that I used to do too. Is I would start feeling a certain way, and I wouldn't talk about it, and then I did start talking about it, and then he would get mad that I was talking about it all the time.
I was about to say that. I think that's the hard part. He's like, I won't get mad. I promise I won't get mad. The 5 minutes like you're arguing.
Yeah, you know, and it's like I shouldn't have said that. Which is why I think it's good to have a therapist.
Yeah,
because that's somebody who you can talk through your insecurities with, and I learn to identify where the roots are, and be able to determine when it's your insecurities that are causing you to feel a certain way or think something.
Do you believe in couples therapy?
I definitely tried to get my exes to go, but neither of them wanted to. Actually, no. We did go.
How was it?
Terrible. It was. We went twice, and it was terrible. I mean, the first time we went, we almost broke up right after.
What happened?
Well, we went, and it was this older. I thought she was black in her pictures, like a highlight black. But when we got in there, I was like, "There's a lot of white people in here." So I was like, I don't even really know if she's fully black. You know, I was very adamant about having a black therapist because they understand our experiences.
Right.
And so we got in there, and she was actually really, really good. And so she's asking, you know, me, my perspective about a situation. She's asking him. I'm thinking everything's going good. We leave, and he's like, you was trying to make me look like a fool in there. I was like, what? He was like, you made me sound like I was irresponsible and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, why did you say this when we were in the session?
Yo.
And like you made me look like I couldn't pay, because I wanted to pay for the session because it was my idea. And so when he tried to pay, I put my card in front of him and I was like, I'm gonna pay. He made me look like I'm not a man and da-da-da-da-da. I'm just like,
that's that male fragile masculinity.
I was like, we don't ever have to go again. Okay. It was bad every time we went. But I realized it's because we're at a minute. We got one more minute. I realized it's because you can't force people to do work that they don't want to do.
Right.
And that if they're not open to it, then they're going to be defensive the whole time. He wasn't ready for it, which is understandable. And it was selfish on my part to try to force him into that for my own gain, you know?
Yeah. Well, it's good that you acknowledge that.
Yeah. But it was. You
wasn't trying to.
It was a mess, Landon. I was like, what?
Bro, the voice that you gave him just now.
I was so taken aback. Like, I was really genuinely like, I had no idea you felt like that. Because he didn't say anything. And he didn't show nothing.
He's there smiling.
I was like, I thought we was good.
That shit reminded me of Diary of a Mad Black Woman when they was dancing and stuff. And he was like, yo.
Yeah, it was shenanigans, but.
Man. Cool. Yeah, we're going to wrap this thing up, man. You got any last words you want to say before we wrap it up?
No, I think we're good.
Yeah. That was good. It was a good show. Good show.
Good show.
Felt good, man. We get this thing rolling. We on episode 7 already.
I know.
We're like, yeah, we're only 93 away from 100.
Okay, thank you guys. And thank you guys for downloading the episode. We had a really good response for our episode 6. Broke a record, so woo-hoo.
Yeah, sure did.
Yeah, please, if you can, leave reviews, actually written reviews. We've gotten a couple so far, and we appreciate it so much. The more reviews you leave, the more Apple will push it to people that are more likely to like our podcast. So thank you guys for listening and for supporting us. Yeah,
man, it's been a great journey so far, and we just getting started. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, it's only up from here. So man, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. Thank you everybody for tuning in, man. We have been I'm stuttering. Thank y'all for tuning in. Thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Southern Hospitality, man. I'm your co-host, Landon Moss.
I'm Gabby Moss.
And we are out.